Well, after the win, the cast and crew were understandably jubilant. Their families too joined in the celebrations. Here's a quick look at all of that, viewers.
It's beyond our wildest dreams. I'm so happy. I think this is the first purely Indian movie that's won an Oscar. I know Slumdog won and Gandhi won, but those were both Western productions. This is the first, as far as I know, Indian production, full Indian movie to win an Oscar. And I couldn't be more proud of my adopted country.
It's just amazing that RRR has become the first Indian film to win Oscar. I salute the musical genius of M.M. Kirwani Garu, lyricist Chandra Bosu, singers, all have made history and made our hearts swell with pride. Jai Hind.
Well, Indian cinema today flexed its creative muscles at the Oscars, and the industry says it's long overdue, and here are some of the tributes.
I think it's a great euphoric feeling, sense of pride, joy, happiness. 2 wins, Elephant Whisperer, Puneet Monga's, and of course Rajamouli's RRR winning the best song, original song. It's fantastic. As an Indian and a fraternity, from the fraternity, I think it's fabulous.
I think it's a great moment for every Indian. There's 2 awards, Oscar awards for India. It's a great feeling, great moment. It's a proud moment for everybody. It's a great encouragement and a great achievement, I would say, for every Indian. And I think our cinema, definitely we are over there on global platform.
मुझे तो गोल्डन ग्लोब मिला था तभी लगा था मतलब ऐसे नहीं कोई भविष्यवाणी की थी पर ऐसा लग रहा था सारा जो माहौल था. इनफैक्ट अगर आप ऑस्कर देख रहे थे तो दीपिका पादुकोण ने जब नाटू नाटू गाने की जब उसका जो परफॉर्मेंस था उसके पहले जब बात की तभी अचानक से जो रिस्पांस आ रहा था तभी पता चल रहा था कि ये रिस्पांस ऐसा लगा जैसे फिल्म फेयर को आ रहा है. लगा था गाने को मिलना मुझे लग रहा था कि असंभव था ही नहीं, सब संभव ही था. अगर नहीं मिलता तो अचरज होता.
Well, India's cultural influence, born out of its creative energies that feed off an open liberal environment at home, and its rich diversity is being increasingly embraced world over and celebrated, viewers. Sample some of these examples. Yoga. Just think about that. In 2015, Albanese and Prime Minister Modi watched cricket in Ahmedabad. PM Albanese calls it a highlight of my life. Cricket has become so much really an Indian game, viewers. Holi. US Commerce Secretary grooves to Holi songs with Rajnath Singh. There you can see that on your screens. It's also being celebrated internationally in many, many countries. Indian cuisine. Just sample this fact. In the United Kingdom, Indian restaurants employ more than steel, coal, shipping industries combined in the United Kingdom. Indian cinema. Syria has a publicly displayed portrait of Amitabh Bachchan. Only portrait as big as its then president, Hafez al-Assad. I mean, that tells you something. Indian Army. Turkish woman kisses an army personnel after rescue mission. Look at that, viewers. We are winning the world, and we are doing it because we are the beacon of tolerance, moderation, responsibleness, and of course, viewers, creativity. I want to open this up because this is such a special day, and I want to get a sense really of what people are thinking and how they are viewing this. Let me bring in first Yazin Nizar, singer of the Tamil and Malayalam version of Naatu Naatu. Now, this song is so energetic, but you've translated it. How does it sound in its translated form? Can you sing a few lines to us, Nizar Saab?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me here. It's an honor. And translation, while recording, we've tried the max to sound similar to the other languages.
Right.
They have to have a unison, like without much of a difference in how it sounds. So that is what we were told while recording it.
Right. So, I mean, how did you do that? Did you rewrite the entire song, or did you just sort of translate it simply? How does that work? Because obviously a literal translation would not have worked, I'm sure. So you must have added some words, the sentiments, but does that change the overall sort of appeal or the meaning of the song?
The lyric writers were doing whatever changes or whatever requirements were there according to director sir and the music director. So they were there while we recorded. So at every point they were supervising us while recording. So there were clear instructions on how to approach every phase of the song. So yes, as you said, literal translations are difficult. So whichever fits, there was a good balance between sounding and the translation. Like if it's literal translation from the other languages, sometimes it doesn't fit on the meter of the song. So right. They made sure there was a right balance of, especially when it's a triple R, there is a very slight boundary between languages. Because it's all important. Every language they see as important. Every market is important. So they were very careful while going with every languages, I feel.
And what a beautiful country we are. You can be in the north, you can be in different states in the south, you can be in the northeast, and you can actually understand the words because they've been sort of repurposed and translated into your own language, and that just tells you that music has no boundaries. India's culture has no boundaries. It flows from one to the other seamlessly, requiring sometimes only a little bit of translation, but not really in the ethos or in the undercurrents of the creative process, but just in language. But just tell me, Mr. Nizar, and if you can just sing a few words perhaps in the Tamil version and the Malayalam version, so our viewers can sort of get a sense really of how it sounds.
Sure, I will start with Malayalam and then go to Tamil. I'll mix it up.
Right.
Make it convenient.
Okay.
രണ്ട് മനം മുന്നാക്കി രണ്ടെണ്ണക്കണ മേളം കൊട്ട് കുയിലും മയിലും പാട്ട് പാടി ഘോഷമിട്ട് കൂവിക്കൊണ്ട് ചിലമ്പാട്ടം ചുട്ടിക്കാട്ട് കാത്തരണ്ട വെട്ടിക്കാട്ട് കല്ലിക്കട്ട് കാളയാട്ട കൂറ് കൊമ്പിൽ കൊത്തിക്കാട്ട് നാല് കാല നാല് തോളും ഇരട്ടി ധൂള് കിളപ്പിക്കാട്ട് നാ പാട്ട ചൂടു വാചകോരെ. Goes like that.
Oh, that's beautiful, because you've got the cadence. You've got the cadence, and we're listening to the original. And you've got the cadence absolutely. So the words Naatu Naatu, how do they sort of play out?
Yeah, in Tamil, it's retained as Naatu Kutu.
Okay.
And it kind of means the same in Malayalam too.
Right.
So it was not, I think that was not a very hard thing to do, because it had the perfect similar wordings in both the languages. But many of the other words were different, obviously. And I think Keeravani sir, Rajamouli sir, and all the lyric writers, they've done so much hard work and research into every word, basically, I feel, because the way it sounds in every language, it's so different yet similar. And I feel amazing work. We just have to salute, especially Keeravani sir, for this work.
Okay, let me bring in one of the biggest producers in the country. Mr. Suresh Babu is here with us. Mr. Babu, what made this alchemy come alive to the point that the world is dancing? And it's not just about, the song Naatu Naatu. It's also, of course, let's not forget about the Elephant Whisperers. What a beautiful story. What makes our culture so infectious? Mr. Babu, I think you're on mute. If you just unmute yourself, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yes.
So it's like today a major Indian victory for us. At one side you have Elephant Whisperers, small film, parallel cinema doing so well. And then you have the biggest blockbuster, big film, big budget, doing all the big mass things that we are known for all over the world. And both of them getting the crowning glory that they've got today. That's the big high today, for me at least. Now, and both these filmmakers, okay, Rajamouli is phenomenal ekagrata in what he does. From he used to make television serials. From there, he's kept on moving the last 15, 20 years, each film getting better than the next. And his aim has always been there. I must make an international film. Probably he'll soon tell us. He wants to make Mahabharata international. That's his goal. So, and he's been, I've been part of some films that we did Makki together. But he's a man who just wants brilliance and excellence every time. And that's what he got out of his entire crew. For this song specifically, Chandra Bose, Keeravani, their phenomenal work. And also give a lot of credit to Prem Rakshit, the dance master, who got this outstanding choreography. And today, if we had them dancing in that stage, the two superstars, Ram Charan and Junior NTR, and Prem Rakshit also have a great role to play in getting this song to an international platform and for it to dance, for us, all of us to dance on this.
I mean, that performance was just spellbinding because, I mean, you know, the energy that you require, the training, of course, the choreography has to be spot on. A lot went into it, Mr. Babu.
Yeah, a lot. And Rajamouli takes physically a lot out of you. Okay, he takes mentally a lot out of you, and physically also he takes out. Whether it was in Bahubali when he got both those guys to become physically so good. You can see effort everywhere. It's not that it's just on the heat. There is effort. Everybody's sweating it out for success. So he's on it and he gets the whole team on it. Everybody's on it. They just have one goal to just achieve that brilliance.
Well, you've talked about Mr. Rajamouli as, of course, as a filmmaker, his grand scale and vision, and we're all looking forward, if you've got it right, to an internationalized Mahabharata. I mean, that would be such a dream come true, telling an Indian epic on a global scale. I mean, we watched so many Greek epics on a global scale, but that would perhaps be a first for us. But I just wanted to ask you, Mr. Babu, does nomenclatures like Bollywood, Tollywood, does this compartmentalize, you know, Indian film industry, our culture, our diversity? You know, should we just do away with it?
We should just do away with it.
Yeah.
This is not a Telugu film success. This is an Indian film success.
Yeah.
So anybody who says that's all petty and it's all over. We've seen that it's now national cinema. Maybe Rajamouli also was one of the first ones to create national cinema. Actually, we had the first national cinema about 75 years ago with Chandralekha. That was a film which was made in Tamil and it was reasonably successful. It was not a phenomenal hit. And then they dubbed it. Probably 10 months after the original release, they dubbed it in Hindi and it became a phenomenal success. And I think it finishes 75 years in April this year. So that's 75 years of the first national film, according to me. And with Bahubali, we said, okay, it became, though they made it in Telugu, it was dubbed into all languages, it became national. And after that, we have everybody thinking national. It's not that they want to make a film for one language, whether he's from Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam, Kannadam, tomorrow from Bengal, from Assam. Everybody is going to dream and make films that will sell all across. Finally, we are all Indians. There's something within us. There's a lot of commonality and probably there's diversity, and that's what we need to showcase to the whole world. And today when I was just hearing about Kirti Gonzalez, she studied in a school in Kunur, Ooty, and that's where they shot that film from about the elephant in Mudumalai. And that also shows so much of our culture and how we are linked with the environment. It's like a goosebumps day for filmmakers. One, the satisfaction that both these teams have won great awards. And two, the hope that it gives to all the future filmmakers, the present filmmakers, that we can all go there.
Yeah.
And we'll all achieve what that other film got 9 Oscars today. Soon we'll have one Indian film getting 5 to 7 Oscars on one night. And
absolutely. I mean, I was surprised that it didn't make the best foreign film because I mean we all sometimes know that the war in Ukraine, etc., the messaging that had to be also sort of looked at. This is phenomenal. But you're so very right. We should just do away with all these nomenclatures. We're all Indians and we all have one culture that binds us. The fight against the British, for example, that is so well captured in the movie, united all Indians. The elephant is a quintessentially totemic Indian symbol. I mean, the elephant represents India like nothing else. You look at trinkets that are sold in Janpat or any other market, anywhere, touristy market, and the elephant is to India what the charka is to was to Mr. Gandhi. So I just want to bring in Kasturi Shankar for a few moments. Kasturi Shankar, look, at the end of the day, we are breaking all our national boundaries, whatever they are. Many people have these sort of preconceived notions that we are this and we are that, but this is not quite true. We are Indians first, and look how brilliantly these awards have captured this essence.
First off, of course, a huge day of celebration. As somebody who was born and brought up in Tamil Nadu, started her movie debut in Tamil Nadu, and now lives in Telangana, for me it's a doubly happy day to recognize both Kartiki and then the huge magic of RRR. Congratulations and celebrations all around. We have been breaking boundaries. You mentioned the elephant god. I guess you mentioned the elephant as the quintessential definition of India, identity of India. I guess in a lighter vein, one could say we start everything with Ganeshji, and today the elephant gods were kind to us. And that's the first ever Indian-made project to get an Oscar. That's the first ever purely Indian project to get an Oscar. But yeah, I think at the Oscar stage, we've got the recognition today, but I wouldn't say that today is the first day the world woke up to India.
That's true.
We've had the Apu trilogy, we've had the Satyajit Rays, the Adur Gopalakrishnan, the Raj Kapoors, the Amitabh Bachchans, and the Shah Rukh Khans. At a later stage, the Malayalam superstars, and now Telugu and Kannada coming on its own, breaking boundaries every now and then. But they always had to contend with the commercial umbrella, the huge shadow of Bollywood. But today, it's incredible how the Indian market, the Indian movie market commercially as well, has given way to regional cinema, to Indian cinema, which told stories of quintessentially Indian themes instead of taking a pan-Indian, pan-Western.
And that wouldn't have been that wouldn't have been possible.
I have that complaint about Bollywood all the time.
And that wouldn't have been possible. I mean, let me bring in Abhijit Iyer Mitra.
But Oscars have always, Oscars
No, one second, let me just
have
bring in,
always recognized Indian elements.
That's
be
right.
it Lagan or Mother India or Visaranai or today RRR. They've always gravitated towards very, very unadulterated Indian themes.
Okay, let me bring in Abhijit Iyer Mitra. Mr. Mitra, and also Sanjay Hegde here with us, who's also a culture vulture, writes about culture from time to time. Abhijit Iyer, let me ask you this question because it's an important one. I mean, we are hearing so many naysayers who talk about how diversity in India is under attack, our plurality is under attack, but if that were the case, we wouldn't have been embracing all these other diverse cultures. These films would not be doing so brilliantly outside their own geographies. But, I mean, forget about India. They are towering over the world today.
Absolutely, Rahul. And, for me particularly, this was quite poignant because, I was born and brought up in Madras. Mm-hmm. And, we have this genre out there called Dabangut, which is basically, all the cherries on the road, the taporis on the road, very catchy beats. It's truly folk music. And, it used to be considered vulgar. If we did it, when I was growing up, there was a song called Peta Rap. If we did it, our parents would be like, what are you doing? Are you a street urchin dancing like this? And to look at that entire dance genre and that beat genre today go and win the Oscar, it's quite almost a personal validation of your musical choices and things like that. And see, that's the beauty. If you look throughout this year, it's not just Naatu Naatu that's done very, very well out in America. In India, if you look at it, it's the regional film that's done very well, telling you very regional stories. Stories like Kantara and things like that. So, what you're seeing is not a homogenization of the Indian psyche. It's actually a federalization and a diversification of the Indian psyche, where you're able to appreciate nuances from different parts of the country. And what that's doing is, because it's creating this kind of a bigger local market, it's also creating, this a bigger business proposition and a bigger recognition, a global recognition proposition for all those regional genres to be accepted and projected internationally. And what you've seen, for me, is a culmination of the process of, the sort of mainstreaming. For me, they were always mainstream. I mean, Tamil Nadu boy, for me, Tamil movies and Dabakuthu is mainstream. But for all of this to get mainstreamed in terms of an Oscar, not that Western validation is important to me, but if it happens, it's fantastic. Yeah. I'm just glad when, it's like when you like a dosa. Yeah. If your friend also ends up liking the dosa, you're happy. It's not that it makes your mother's dosa any worse or better. It's just that if somebody else likes it, there's that joy that, somebody else, I can connect with somebody else who likes the same things that I like.
Okay, so Sanjay ji, let me bring you into this. He used an interesting phrase, federalization of the Indian psyche. So, Bharat Jodo aside, we are all one here. We are united. And
was there any doubt? There never was a doubt that we are all one. The thing is, I think the best example was what my brother told his American wife, that India was the European Union before the European Union. We have so many languages. We have so much diversity. There is always, some people who may have a greater representation in the pie. So why was it that the Bombay film industry was seen as a representation of India? It was because the industry was based in Bombay, but the artists, the stories came from everywhere. I actually think that Indian films regressed, or rather the Bombay industry regressed, when the stories did not come from the earth. You could not see a Do Biga Zameen. You could not see a Mother India. What you saw was South Bombay Archie characters in some kind of YRF sponsored, what shall we say, comic book realism. If you tell a genuine story, which is rooted in your culture, and that is universal, then it goes. I was so proud recently when my home district of South Kerala, its culture came alive in Kantara. People who, though ethnically from there, did not have a connect with the Bhutas of South Kerala.
Right.
They then began to understand what their ancestors were. So yes, we are a great,
and we can keep building on it. But first, we must not sit on our success, number one. Number two,
please, for heaven's sake, stop all this of boycotting this movie, that movie. I mean, one of our biggest successes within our great common market has been Pathan recently.
Yeah.
And there were people who wanted to shut it down. Why? For heaven's sake. If a story is real, it appeals to the audience will accept it. If it is a bad story, it will fall by.
Yeah, that goes for...
Who are we to scare people?
Yeah, that goes also for Kashmir Files.
To compulsively watch something.
Yeah, I mean, that goes for Kashmir Files. If the story is compelling, people will watch it, they'll appreciate it, and let's not try to sort of block it, etc. I think those points are very well made. I just wish, viewers, people would be a lot less pessimistic in our country. We are constantly being told by politicians, this, that we can't stand each other, that, you know, where our geography ends and the other begins, we're different, and this, that, the other, and we all need to, well, I think that's all bunkum. And today, we should really, really celebrate, as Mr. Babu has said, as Nizar Bhai has said, as Kasturi Shankar has said, Mr. Iyer, even Mr. Hegre, all saying that, look, we're one, we've got a great story, let's tell it in our different languages, in our beautiful languages to the whole world, and let's win them over. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.